Am I on? Gibby, the audio's all messed in here. Who was in here?
No one.
Somebody.
I swear, no one.
What were they doing?
It's really loud.
It was really loud.
And then I couldn't.
Well, I think you were off initially. But now I think you're on.
I mean, I was coming in hot.
Real hot.
Yeah, that was a
doozy, Judge.
Are you ever worried about that as you get older, losing your hearing?
I mean, yeah.
Because these are...
No, because I'm good with it. Like, I'm not... We know others...
You're good with not having your hearing?
No, I'm very... I don't get it really loud. And, so I usually always have one ear out.
One out, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to lose my hearing.
No, I'm not excited about it. It can be advantageous in certain circumstances.
I'd like to selectively lose my hearing.
Now you're talking.
But sometimes I think I'm able to do that anyway.
Just ignore it.
It's like
Bootsy's movie just goes, Dad, 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 Dad. Like, he doesn't move physically, nor does the tone of his dad's change. Yeah. It's until I respond. That's his move.
That's what he goes
like, he doesn't, look, if I'm not in the same room, I can hear it echoing on the other side of the house. And I'm like, I'm not going to respond to this.
Come here.
You walk up the stairs, walk across, and come over, and then we'll have a chat.
Then we'll talk.
Then we'll have a conversation about things.
So I have noticed, and it's been this way for a while, so I don't know if it's not an age-related or this hearing loss thing. I do. So when I read something, for example, I'm looking right now on Twitter, it says gorgeous sunset in Juno Beach. And it is. It's a beautiful sunset.
Feel like it would be.
Yeah.
Is that Alaska, Juno?
I think it's Juneau, Florida.
Okay.
Because it's Juno, not the Juneau.
EAU. Yes.
So when I'm reading something, like if I'm reading this, I kind of read it in my head where I almost hear myself say it in my head. Does that make any sense to you?
Sure, for sure.
So if I'm reading something, I don't hear. Not a chance. If I'm focused reading this right now, and then you said something. Well, right now I'm doing both because I'm multitasking. But yeah, that's when it's. I need to read if I don't want to hear. I read.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
I absolutely like that. See, somebody was definitely in here. This is loose.
There's a lot going on.
There's
no doubt.
I don't know who
it feels
was.
like
somebody was in here.
Maybe a scorned Ibs boy.
An Ibs boy, perhaps.
Was here.
I don't know. Somebody was in here.
No one has been here since I got here.
By the
way, I found, you were saying early, go to the local watering hole. I found a great new spot.
Wonderful.
Closer to you. There's one, and you're familiar with the Lakewood Truck Park. They just opened one in Beechwood. So for you, It's a little further. But
what is this?
It's the Beechwood Truck Park, and it's my good friend Justin Costanzo is part of the group that did the Lakewood Truck Park and the Beechwood Truck Park. And so I actually met my great friend, the legend Steve Passoff, there yesterday. So what it is actually a really cool concept. So they bought what was an old fire station right on Chagrin Boulevard, just past Richmond Road. Good area, good freeway access.
Yeah.
You get there very quickly. And so they've got probably – so you come in, there's a huge bar with TVs everywhere, massive bar that's half indoor, outdoor, massive TVs, all the TVs you could want. They got an upstairs area, a bunch of TVs. They even have now they're going to have a private room, a party room one day where you can do fantasy drafts or whatever you want up in there. And then outside, there's some covered, mostly uncovered, maybe 50 picnic benches.
Okay.
Or picnic tables. They're going to also have 3 elevated with fireplace elevated high tops so that you can sit around a fire if it's a night. And then there's room for 3 food trucks to be there, and they have a rotating schedule of food trucks that come in, for lunch and then for dinner and whatever, and just as they do in Lakewood. It's just a cool spot. The drinks are very reasonably priced.
I mean, I'm looking at some of the images. This looks nice. This looks like a good idea.
It was great.
It looks like people helping people.
It was, and it just opened this past weekend, the soft launch. I think the real launch is coming up this weekend. But if you're on the east side, I would recommend going there. If you're not, go to the one in Lakewood. You're on the west side. So they've got all the sides covered.
It really is cool.
It's
because
awesome.
Every day there's a different kind of food.
Yeah.
Different kind of food truck.
That's
the
really
food's
cool.
always cool. It's low maintenance I feel like it's low maintenance from an ownership standpoint. In the winter, they've got the igloos. So you can hop in an igloo and hang out
and be
while
warm.
It snows outside.
I like that. There's a food truck here today.
There is.
Yeah.
Do you have the name on that?
It was quite delightful.
You had the pizza?
Gibby should have the name on it. Yeah.
Hold on. Stand by.
Hold, please. I asked Gibbe.
It was a coal. It was like a coal fire pizza situation. Is that what it was? Brick oven pizza.
Yes.
Yeah. It was quite good.
I'm missing it. I don't know where.
Smelling anyway. I didn't get to have any. Gibbe, it's a whole
Sauced
pizza per person.
wood-fired pizza truck.
It was a whole
sauced wood fire. Yeah.
So they got. Hopefully they'll show up
slices.
at the truck park. You house that thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
4
look at me.
pieces depending on the.
No,
You
it was
know,
a real pizza.
Yeah, it seemed like I saw over here in one of the offices. It looked like a full.
Yeah.
It looked like a medium pizza to me, like
It
a
looked like
medium-sized pizza.
That's exactly what it was.
12-inch.
That's what I was gonna say. 12, a 12er, no doubt. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
no doubt,
It's delightful.
and it looked delightful. Gibbe had all the meats. I saw many meats on there.
Well, there's a mushroom one, and I'm hit or miss on mushrooms.
Not me. I'm all in.
I'm all in on
Pepperoni mushroom
And I
is the
hate
pizza.
cooked spinach, so don't put that on. That was an option on
I
the
don't
other
have a problem
pizza.
with
that was
that. No
immediately
problem.
Pepperoni mushroom is just automatic. Like,
So
what,
it
you want a
was-
pizza, I get pepperoni mushroom. Now, if they have sausage like that crumble,
Yep, it was a
I'm not
pepperoni
afraid of
sausage
that,
bacon.
'cause that's pretty good sausage.
The bacon would have been the bridge too far for
Oh,
me. Like if you
God.
substitute the bacon
Disgusting.
for the mushroom, now we're into something.
We weren't allowed.
Yes,
That's how
now
I
you're
would've
gonna
wanted this.
now you're gonna tell me that you're gonna put like bacon in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with your Fritos.
Not at all, man. However, I did do 3 pounds of bacon on my griddle last week. Cut it up, dried it, cut it up, and then threw it in my homemade baked beans that I then put on the smoker.
Well,
for
that's fine
5
though.
hours.
That's an appropriate.
That's appropriate
destination
place for bacon,
Yeah,
not
that's how it
pizza.
should be. That's how it ought
Well,
to be.
you can't. Those were the toppings.
So you
The
either got
things
a
were
spinach-
pre-made to
It was a
put-
spinach pizza.
It
This
was like
meat
a white
thing.
pizza. Yeah.
That's not pizza. I mean, to be fair. A white
Eh,
pizza's not pizza. I mean,
so
to be
no,
fair, I
no.
don't think it is.
Suds McGuire's down the street does a fine.
It's
white
fine. Like
pizza.
it's just like when people try to tell you like barbecue chicken's a pizza. No, let's relax. You put a bunch of stuff on a dough that's not a pizza. Okay, I mean,
Fair.
there are rules here. You know, I'm sorry. No, there's got to be some. And so then they had a mushroom option, and then they had this meat option. Those were the 3 options.
Yeah,
for you.
quite good. Great
Yeah.
place. I'd recommend it.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you.
Got the
I'm
wood
pepperoni
fire
mushroom
going
always.
on
That's the
on the
pizza.
back of a pickup truck.
I don't even know how I got into it. I have to assume one of my parents put me onto it. I don't know what, but it's
just
been my go-to my whole life.
it's pizza, and I think it's very important. Miss Kay, when we met, one of the things we asked, what's your pizza? Pepperoni
Yeah.
mushroom. Same. Okay,
Sold.
we can keep going.
Maybe you and I could get married
Yeah,
someday.
maybe we'll do it in Scottsdale.
Maybe
Why
that's
not?
the way
Paradise
that'll
Valley.
work. That's the way that thing will work. We have the start of the Open Championship tomorrow.
I can't.
No,
can't
Thursday.
Wait,
Thursday. God, I
Tuesday.
I
feel
know.
like today's
Getting
Wednesday.
excited there.
Because we're not.
Yeah, I'm
we're
not
not
used to it.
We're not used to having.
Did you
to work
see
on that.
a couple of things jumped out to me at the Open in the course of the last couple of days? Number one, the image of John Daly like getting a bro hug from Tiger Woods, and then you realize I tweeted this last night. You realize that like on Friday of last week he was hitting a driver over a freeway into Hoban High School in Akron.
Yeah.
And then yesterday he's at the old course getting a bro hug from Tiger Wood. That's life, brother. Life's a hell of a thing. How are those two things? How does all of that happen?
Because he's John Daly.
It's amazing. Like that's amazing.
When he won the British Open, that was one of my favorite ones ever.
yeah, I remember you say that. Yeah.
Constantino Rocca made like the most insane putt ever to
Yeah.
force the extra session on
Yeah.
18 through the Valley of Sin.
Mm-hmm.
And then John went out and won it. I am so excited. I love the Open. The Open at St. Andrews is even better than that. It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Max Hama's playing with Tiger. He got paired with Tiger and put out a tweet like, "Thank you, golf gods. I get to play with
Can
the
you
goat."
imagine
And
in
he's
the
so fired up.
150th Open, you're
Unreal.
playing with Tiger?
Yeah, it's unreal.
So the other thing that caught my attention, again, had to do with Tiger. One positive one. Let's go the one negative first. Get it out of the way. Glass half full. So I saw him hit driver on 18,
Okay.
and he drove the green as he would.
Duh.
But I also saw him swing, and I went, well, he's now kind of swings like an old man, which is what he is. And he almost lost a limb, and it just occurred to me.
Do you see the picture of his leg
Yeah.
without a pant?
Yes. There's just no way he can win it.
No.
There's just no way that he can be in. That he just can't. There's no way physically you can do it. It's in the swing. It's just not holding up. The walking's not gonna. It's just not. I mean, I understand why he played this instead of the U.S. Open by 1,000 miles.
Oh yeah.
But also like this, it's just. I'm excited for it, but also understanding there's no way he's gonna be able to string together.
Can he
the
play
endurance of
4
the thing.
straight days?
Yeah, but I think he could shoot. I mean, I think it could get ugly by the time you get to Saturday and
I
Sunday.
hope
I hope not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love nothing more for him to be in the mix. But just watching him swing. I mean, you played. Did you see the swing I'm talking about on 18 where he drove
I
it?
did. Yeah.
It's a really stiff It's really stiff.
He just doesn't have a right. It's hard for him to. He doesn't have the lower body explosion that is synonymous with what he used to do.
Yes.
And so that's tough.
Yeah.
I hope he's able to do it though, because it'd be. I mean, it's what could be more fun?
Nothing. And then you had this image of him and Jack on the bridge, right? I mean, this is it. This is golf. Really is coming to life. This is St. Andrews. It's Jack Nicklaus. It's Tiger Woods. Like Bobby Jones. You know, that's it.
It's amazing.
That's the list.
Old Tom
right?
Morris.
Right. Like this is the list. So have you looked
Young
at the
Tom
image
Morris.
of Tiger and Jack? I mean, it's a stunning image, but how closely have you looked at it?
That just was taken?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Pull it up.
Okay.
Pull up the image of Tiger and Jack on the bridge. It's just there's one with that also has like Rory, and then there's an LPGA and like Lee Trevino, but there's one that's just Tiger and Jack. Tell me when you have it up.
I got it.
You got it, Gibby?
Yep.
Yes.
Sweater vests. Wouldn't have had both.
Let
of
me
the
make sure
sweater
we're on the
vests.
same one. Yep. All right. I'll give you 5 seconds to look at it and tell me if anything jumps out.
Tiger's standing on Jack's foot. Why? With a spike. Oh, soft spike. He's definitely standing on his foot.
He's 100% standing on Jack's foot.
Yeah, he's
Now,
standing on
obviously, he didn't meet. There's clearly no intent. Like they have incredible mutual respect and admiration.
But then you
But
should
clearly-
feel comfortable saying, "Hey, you're standing.
Hey, you're standing
no
up.
big deal, but you're
no,
standing on my
stand
foot.
on my foot, Tiger.
Let's just
Like,
move step over." That's
he's
great.
standing on Jack's foot.
I'm good at that photo hunt game, so I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. I was
Well,
able to
you
identify
got
it
it just right around 6. It was right there. You're right there. I was just about ready to say it, and then you nailed it. Yeah, he is standing on Jack Nicklaus's foot.
He is.
no
by the
way
way,
around
hold
it.
on. The best part about it is that all I had to do was read the headline, but I was so immersed in the photo. The headline is Tiger Woods was standing on Jack Nicklaus's foot by accident, an iconic photo.
So, it's
So
fun.
it
I
was right
picked up on it last night. I
Okay.
saw it. I talked about it this morning, and then I was curious. I knew at some point others that it would catch on in terms of what the hell, man. So it's pretty priceless.
Bad job by the photographer. Like, you're a professional.
Is that on Jack? Because that would be the bad limb for Tiger. It's possible that he can't
Feel
feel what's going on down there. I mean, that happened to Ohio State coach Thad Matta. Like when he had that surgery, in one of his legs, I believe it's the left, he can't feel from the knee down.
Did he have like drop foot?
He had a back surgery that it went awry down at Ohio State,
Ooh.
and he lost feeling in his left leg. So there was that. So either A, Tiger didn't feel it, or Jack was like, it's not really on a toe, like I'm okay.
Hold on, I have another theory for you. Maybe Jack is really, we'll call it a size 11, but likes to wear 13s, and so the toe was actually empty.
So this is a strong point out of you because Jack, whenever you talk to him, he's quick to point out that he used to be like 6'1", and now he's like 5'8".
So, and he's still wearing so he's still wearing his 6'1" shoes, maybe.
Could be.
And his feet have shrunk proportionately.
I can just see him going, Barbara, I'm a 12. And she's going, Jack, you're a 10 now. You're a 10. I'm a 12, damn it. Don't argue with me. And gets the 12s. I could see that's in play.
There's some, if you look at it, there is a compression into the toe area. You would know it.
You would
It's
definitely
not a fun
know it.
compression.
There's
if
no
you're
way.
wearing a shoe.
And honestly, even if you're in a 12 and you're a 10, you'd still feel it, even as it is there. Like you would definitely feel the pressure of it. It's
course.
pulling down at the foot.
By the way, how many times have you watched, if any, the young Tiger Woods wins the British Open commercial, the old Nike commercial that has been going on?
I haven't seen it in a while. I'll watch it in the break. I mean, it's a
Oh, baby.
yeah, it's got all the feels.
It's all you want.
I remember I've seen it, but I haven't seen it recently.
For sure. It's just
Certainly.
because it's
Because
St.
we're all-
Andrews. It's going.
He's won twice there, right?
I think
Tiger?
that's right. Yeah. My greatest golf memory, 100%, without question, was at St. Andrews.
Yeah.
100%.
You played there 2 rounds or
2 rounds.
2 rounds.
Yeah.
And you played the round of your life right there? Or?
Well, the first round, I birdied 18. So I was like,
it's amazing.
and I think the first day I shot, I think 75 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right before the women's British. This is going back
So it was
14,
it was on
years.
point.
Yeah. So, and all the grandstands were set up, and it was really cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then, so after I birdied 18, I was like, I don't want to play anymore.
That's it.
That's it. I birdied 18, St. Andrews, had a great round. Like, that's it. That's all I want. And then we won the lottery, and Danny rightfully said, we're in St. Andrews. We just won the lottery again. We're playing. Get over it.
Smart.
You're right.
The right play out of Danny.
You're right.
Yeah.
So the first day it was calm. Second day the winds are whipping. It was insane. Played the best round of my life. It was me, Danny, and a guy from Australia who was a 2, and we were all playing really, really good golf. And I birdied 17 with the bagpipes playing at the Old Course Hotel. There were bagpipers out there. Birdied 17. A guy in the grandstands was like, I've been sitting here all day. You're the first person who birdied the road hole. And then I birdied 18 again. And awesome. So now for sure, no chance I'm going back.
That's it. That's a wrap. How does the lottery work?
I don't know. You put your name in it.
But is it like if there were 4 of you, would the 4 of you go together, or would it be 1 or 2?
Yeah. You put it in as a twosome, as a foursome, or whatever.
Okay.
There is a gentleman that we know, no names please, that is on a golf trip with his college buddies this week. They left Saturday for Scotland. They're playing 6 rounds in 8 days, and they have tickets for the final round.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What a treat.
It's a pretty good one.
Stumbled into it. It got canceled last year because of COVID, moved back, and all of a sudden, now you're at the Open.
You
stumbled into the 150th Open.
There is no way to understand, even on TV, how massively wide the fairways are left. Like, you can hit it pretty much a country mile left on any hole.
At St. Andrews.
At St. Andrews. Yeah. Right is where you're going to run into some of the OBs, but, I mean, you could just hit it left. Like, you hit it left. And then to try to understand how big these greens are, the TV doesn't do it justice. Even the double greens and all that, they are huge. You could have like a 100-yard putt.
It's awesome.
It's so cool.
It's my favorite major. It always has been. I just love it.
It's the coolest place. It's magical. They should have the bagpipers out there on 17 on Sunday, like no matter what, because it's just bagpipes in the air at St. Andrews. You're hitting it over the Owen Hotel on the Old Course Hotel on the wall, and then you got the road. Right. I mean, it's just absolutely, it's insane.
Yeah.
And more importantly, they understand and they show every swing and every shot for all 4 days. I don't have to pay for it.
No, it's
I don't
all
have
there.
to.
Are you joking? You know what? Thursdays, you wake up and it's on.
It's on.
And that's why it's the
Friday.
best.
It's on. Saturday, my wife's like, we have commitments in the afternoon. I said, what time? She said 4 o'clock. I said, perfect. The Open's done at 2.
Done. Yep, done.
We're good. I like where we're at here.
No, it's everything. It's all of that. Yeah, it's all of that. So that was cool. A couple of days out on the Open Championship. We will go around the league on today's show. Louis Riddick with some comments on the Lamar Jackson extension. Baker was introduced down in Carolina. Get some of the highlights from that. We'll get that to you as well here. We are what else we got on here on the program today, Gibby?
We're gonna have a little fun. We're putting together our list of 10 most intriguing teams in 2022.
That'll be fun.
With the help of our panel that I've solicited in the last 24 hours.
All right. I like that. All right, so you have that to look forward to. That's coming up. We're doing that at 2:30.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. There it is, 2 o'clock. Just like that. All right, so we're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. And that Bath Authority gives you that bathroom of your dreams, kids. They can do it for you in about a day. You transform your current bathroom into a custom bath for a spa-like experience. The Bath Authority can make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler, expert factory-trained installers. Give them a call now. You get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. Again, it's where affordability meets quality. The largest selection of bath projects are all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate, keep the heat in, tub-to-shower conversion, superior products with expert installers at thebathauthority.com. 216-220-8399. $500 off your next purchase. Tell them that Beau sent you, and they will take care of you. I promise you that one. Before we go around the league, Baker Mayfield introduced today down in Carolina. Was it a virtual presser? I saw the one with him and like the Panthers version of
It appeared that way.
Like the employee thing where they interviewed via laptop. And then was there another meeting with the local press that happened as well, like some sort of a Q&A, or was that always just that 5-minute video with him and the employee? That's the only thing I saw was the video.
No,
with the
then
employee.
there was like a
legit Q&A.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, it's that spot down there. He's going to have to go win that job. It'll be him against Darnold for the job. Darnold knows the offense. He's been in the system, and so Baker will have an opportunity to go down there and win that job. And who knows what happens from there. There was a reporting from he used to be at the Plain Dealer, Ellis Williams, reporting that the Panthers told Matt Corral, who they drafted, "You're still the future. This has nothing to do with the way we think about you. You're still the future of the franchise," so forth and so on. So for Bake, it's very much a come in, prove the value, and then let's see what happens a year from now, whether you stay in Carolina if you're great, or if not, the door opens somewhere else. So that's the way that'll go.
Totally, and it was also noted that he did purchase number 6 from Johnny Hecker, so he will still be 6 because there was speculation that 1 and 13 were the only quarterback numbers that were available.
Boy, you don't want to be a quarterback wearing 1 in Carolina, I don't think.
No, not after Cameron.
No, you don't want to do that. And I did see.
Yes, of course you did.
Yeah, not hard to say.
We saw it.
That's right.
We together.
We Goose. We.
That's right. Go on Wednesday, by the way. Speaking of.
So also speaking of that, for the first time ever, the rewatchables, which I enjoy when it's a movie that I've seen. I really enjoy that.
Yep.
That thread of podcasts. They did Top Gun Maverick as a rewatchable
already. I saw that.
It's already still in theaters.
Well, it's made its money.
I mean, I think everybody's
Did you
seen
watch
it twice too.
Did you watch?
Did I listen to it?
Listen to it. The rewatchables.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You're gonna just love it more than you can even wrap your head around.
I'm super excited. I told the kids, I said, we're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Make it a priority.
It's happening. Oh, it's done.
Yeah, and I do think it is something that it's going to be a very different experience. Like Simmons said this, he said it's or the co-host guy said it's if in the theater it's a 10, it's a 7 at home, and Simmons corrected him to like an 8.5. It is an experience you have to see in the theater because it's just
how big of a drop off though was the IMAX to the regular theater.
I mean, I still saw it on a really big screen.
I mean, they're all really big now, yeah.
No, but I mean, there are some that aren't as – I mean, this was still a big, big screen that I saw it on. So it wasn't like it was a –
And that was this week?
That was Thursday, last Tuesday.
I saw it on Friday.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
And you were on a big screen, get back?
Big screen.
Yep.
I was on a big screen. Yeah.
Took the parentals, 50th wedding anniversary.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, IMAX was that was almost an out-of-body experience in IMAX.
I would love
So was it like if it was 100 on IMAX, what is it on a big screen?
95.
Oh, okay.
90,
all right,
95.
So I don't have to kick myself.
No, I don't think it was like
90s.
Yeah. No, I don't think that it was it wasn't a stunning drop off. I mean, I think they captured it tremendously even on a really, really big screen.
Okay.
I think they crushed it. So that's
still in a luxury recliner thing. Looks
yeah,
like
you need and the
little 720p. That looks like
well,
a
I
nice
think
time.
it's still killing it too. Box office wise, it's like $1 billion
It's
too.
over $1 billion.
Jeez,
It was $1 billion too.
So you don't go to the Regal Hudson Cinema. You went to?
I went in Macedonia.
Macedonia.
I see bigger screens.
Where is
Big
Cinemark in Macedonia.
Good public school education.
Yeah.
Let's see. I gotta look that up.
So, and Friday, they had different previews than when I saw it at the premiere. The previews, new Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise 1 year from now, and it's part 1.
All right, so you tell this happened to me when we went. So you probably saw the same trailer as that I saw. So
Okay.
I took Beamsy and Black Cobra. They're 10 and 8.
Yep.
So it's a PG-13 movie. So again, this is on me.
Yep.
It's on me. I understand it. But the movie is supposed to start at, I think we went at 2 at a matinee. It was supposed to start at 2. We were there like right at 2. Like, because I knew
You're going to have at least 20 minutes.
yeah. So, okay. Probably 80%
Was
of
Bootsy
the
devastated?
No, I don't think so. I mean, his whole thing was his response to this. Can we go to Target? Yeah. So that's it. So that was a win.
Target.
That's all he wanted to do is go to
What's
Target.
he getting at Target?
Dude,
He's into
Target
those
is the
fun-
new
it's-
Toys
it
R
is
Us,
Toys
dude.
R Us.
It's the new Toys R Us.
There is no Toys R Us, so
Doesn't
you
it?
go to Target. That's where it
Yes.
is. Yeah. They got like 10 rows of stuff.
Fair. They do have
I
an
drove by-
outstanding toy selection.
I drove by the way the other day an old Toys R Us with the color stripe going and it was
Melancholy and the Infinite
nothing.
Sadness.
Brutal. Billy.
So
Boy,
sad.
Great album.
Great
It is,
album.
Yeah.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a frantic kid.
That's all it is. Anyway, so the 80% of the previews were rated R.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
80% of the previews
For
were rated
sure.
R. So I thought, okay, that's a bit aggressive. The fourth one was a Jordan Peele preview.
Yes.
Is that like that horror movie?
Yes. And
Yeah.
so as soon as it comes on, I can see that Beamsy's like, oh, I'm not crazy about where this is going. And I said, just close your eyes, buddy. Close your eyes. So then
I
the
was
sounds. So now we're doing sounds.
Which are terrifying.
Terrifying. So now he's going like this, and I'm going, oh God, what have I done? What have I done?
He's gonna be traumatized before you even get to Maverick.
We were way before Maverick. It was probably another 5-6
Oh, yeah.
previews before you get to Maverick. And there were actually 2 horror previews in the
I
preview
was-
set. There's
yes.
2 of them. The other one was they both were pretty scary. And
No, thank you.
and so he goes at the end of it, like I look over and he's crying. He was crying. Like he was terrified. He was crying and terrified. And it was probably worse because I had him close his eyes. Because really visually it wasn't really as scary. There was one quick screen grab of the bad guy that was pretty dicey. But other than that, like visually it wasn't terrifying, but the noises combined with it. And he was crying. I said, "You okay, buddy?" And he goes, "No, Dad, I'm not." And he was like crying.
Oh,
Like,
no.
God forbid. Thankfully, we got into Maverick and we were okay, and we haven't talked about it since. But he did not do well with that. And it's on me, I think, right? It's a PG-13 movie. I don't know that we got to show, I guess my beef. Do we really need horror previews in the PG-13? I don't know, but whatever. Like, it's probably on me.
I don't
but-
think it's on you. I think if you take somebody to a PG-13 movie, that the previews should be PG-13. If you take them to an R-rated movie, then the previews can be R-rated.
I think that's a good point.
That's kind of where I was. But
No, that's not on you. By the way, we just finished Barry the last season.
Yeah.
And I could not recommend it more. Couldn't.
I've heard it's great.
It's great. Okay, let's meet all your criteria. Okay, 4 seasons,
So I got a big catalog.
30-minute episodes.
I like that.
Bill Hader, who's
I like him. Yeah.
incredible. And then there's a guy named NoHo Hank, who, when you're done with this, I challenge you to tell me he's not in your top 10 TV characters, period.
Okay.
But there's a scene in the finale that is a horror-based scene, I would call it, and it is all sound. It's all happening next to where you are,
Yeah.
and it is terrifying.
Yeah. The idea is he's a serial killer who's trying not to be.
Serial killers are very harsh, very pejorative.
Oh, hitman maybe?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
an assassin.
Okay, he's a hitman.
And he only takes out evil people.
Okay. Wasn't that Dexter? Wasn't that kind of like that?
Kind of, but it's not. It's nothing like Dexter. at all.
Okay.
Dexter was a serial killer who thought he was like trying to do right. This guy's trying to not be a hitman, but that's just what he's good at. That's his one skill.
Okay. This is right in your wheelhouse. I want to ask you about Matthew Berry leaving ESPN after 15 years.
Yeah,
So
I reached out to him.
broke this story, and reporting appears to be, and no, Berry broke his own story.
He did.
Marchand reporting NBC appears to be the favorite. NBC could use Berry to provide to boost the prescription site Peacock as well as TV and on its website. So that's the thinking there, is that might be the landing spot for that. But this is, I mean, you and he were 2 of the dudes.
I mean, he was the dude. He is, and will, I think, always be the name face that was synonymous with the ascent of fantasy football to the mainstream. I think. I mean, that Matthew
that
Berry,
seems fair, yeah.
he is the one of one.
Talented Mr. Roto. Yep.
TMR, exactly. I'm stunned. My guess is he's probably making a ton of money, and they're getting rid of a lot of their expensive people at ESPN.
Well, I feel like I read something earlier this summer that it was coming down to him or Schefter, because Schefter was up for renewal, and there was an article, and it was there's not enough money to pay both, and with Matthew Berry and fantasy football growing, and now legal sports betting, that his value was going to go through the roof.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I always like when a company like that says there's not enough money to pay both. There absolutely is.
Yeah.
For sure there is, 100%. You're making a lot.
Well, you
It's
just
just
paid
you
Buck
have
and Aikman.
I understand, but you're doing fine. You're doing fine. My hunch is that they have propped up enough people through the fantasy umbrella
Sure.
that there are other people who can fill into that. Like if you see a fantasy content, you're just looking for that content. You know,
Yeah,
there's
he
so
was-
many. But he was definitely the business. Reminds me a little bit of Kuiper. Like how Kuiper is the draft.
Yes.
Feel like he is
And then
fantasy football.
Yeah, I would say that's very, very fair. And then, then they bring in their McShays, and they got other guys. Mike Clay, who was on our show from time to time and have been brought in, and other people.
Yates is on that show quite a bit, on the fantasy show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephania Bell.
Stefania.
Stefania. Yeah.
There
You
go.
do wonder if
Yeah.
will legalized sports betting change the appetite for fantasy? Will it negatively impact the fantasy market?
It's a good question. I think
Thank
they're
you.
different.
I agree.
I think they're different, and I think they both can exist. I think that, one of the things, prior to coming here that people wanted from my website more than anything, and one of the things that it turned out to be I was good at, which was ahead of the time, was that, where people had access to it, where it was legal, the player props,
Mm-hmm.
I was very good at those because I was into the statistical modeling and was able to find the inefficiencies in those markets, and they weren't sophisticated back then. So I do think you can get fantasy, which is fun because it's with your buddies. I think that people who are making big investments into gambling or fantasy are going to make big investments into both.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I definitely don't think it's going to all of a sudden it's the end or anything like that. I think the buddy part of it is the amazing
Well,
thing
you have
about
that, then you have
fantasy
daily
sports.
fantasy, which is
Right.
just gambling
Right.
on guys.
Right.
And then you have gambling, and yeah, I think it's just going to continue to go further and further and further and more money into it. I mean, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum, and I believe it to be 100% true that there will be a time when every stadium in the NFL that you go into will have a handheld gambling
Yes.
device at your seat where you swipe your card and
Yep.
you can. Is this going to be a pass? Is it going to be a run? Is there going to score on this drive?
100%.
And have live odds on everything all the time.
Yep. And by the way, I've done that in Vegas on golf, and it's the most fun you can have. Like, it's the most fun.
Yeah.
To bet, like, live Masters is amazing. It's a lot of fun.
I'm sure.
So when that happens, it's going to be that's going to be a win for everybody on that front. All right. Coming up next, we'll hear from Louis Riddick on the Lamar Jackson contract with the Ravens. Also, some uniform news coming out of Houston with what the Texans are going to do. No, it's not what they ought to have done. The You Blew It boy. So we'll get into all of that coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. A lot of bad advice out there about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The miss can lose you money, get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. ESPN's Louis Riddick was on Get Up this morning. Among the topics of conversation, what should Lamar Jackson do if he is not extended by the Ravens? Now, before we play this clip, let's also set this up, that the Ravens are more than willing to pay him. They want to pay him. He wants to be there. The number and the term is the tricky part.
Well, now he's saying, pay me the money.
Pay me the money. Yep. And I think that probably starts at $231 million is my guess. It's what he's probably thinking on what that number ought to be. So here is Louis Riddick on Good Morning, on Get Up this morning on ESPN.
Yeah, look, I've echoed the same sentiment simply because of how important he is to that organization. See, there's going to be people, like, obviously when you look at this, when you look at this ranking as far as how coaches and scouts and executives and players rank these quarterbacks in the NFL, look, they're not really factoring in how important maybe these individual players are to their individual teams, especially when we're talking about a guy like Lamar Jackson. They built their entire organization around him. They designed an entire offense around him. They call plays specifically designed to take advantage of his skill set as an athlete overall, and as a thrower, in terms of his ability to throw the football in the middle of the field in a way that no other team does. No other team has really invested into their guys specifically the way that the Baltimore Ravens have. And I think if you're Lamar Jackson and you know that, and you know also that objectively speaking, when you look at the statistics, we win 76% of our games when I start. We average 29 points a game when I start. That is enough right there to say, hey, look, in terms of my importance to this organization and our ability to win, as this offense is presently constructed, I deserve to get paid a guaranteed contract commensurate with what the Cleveland Browns paid Deshaun Watson, because I'm that important to you. I don't care if other teams feel as though I would be that important to them. I'm that important to you.
You're up.
So you pay me. Otherwise, I'm not coming in.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm sure it's gone, and where they're at is, look, you're worth what you're worth
to the league.
You're worth what you're worth to the organization. He's won an MVP. Everything Louis Riddick has said about him is real. The other thing about it is the contract that we gave Deshaun Watson reshaped the market. And so if you're Jackson, you're saying, I need that.
And obviously, if he's saying, I need that, and he doesn't have it, the Ravens are saying, we don't want to give you that because we still think perhaps while you are the most unique weapon in the NFL, you are an incredible, incredible winner, leader, teammate, probably the most dangerous person on an NFL field week in and week out.
Yep.
The game ultimately will come down to your ability to throw the football when they know you have to throw the football, and that is not necessarily his strength. And so they're saying, do we want to make that investment into Lamar Jackson? Because if they felt that way, the resume speaks for itself. The winning percentage speaks for itself. The MVP speaks for itself. The fear that he strikes in the hearts of every team that lines up to face him speaks for itself.
30-8 as a starter in the regular season.
It's not bad.
69 touchdowns, 18 interceptions.
Also good.
1-3 in the playoffs.
Hold on. You said hold on.
TDs.
Let me just jump real quick. You said 30-8.
30-8.
And then you said 69 passing touchdowns?
Yes.
So less than 2 a game. Okay.
18 picks.
Yep.
1-3 in the playoffs. 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Well, and
that might be enough to say we can't give you that.
Well, the problem, here's the deal. This happens in the NBA a lot. Like this just happened. I mean, I'm not. He's far more accomplished, but it's the Bradley Beal Dame Lillard thing. They're worth more, and I think stupidly in the case of Washington, probably to a certain extent Portland, they're worth more to those two markets than they are to the rest of the league in some instances. Everything that they've done in Baltimore is built around his skill set.
Mm-hmm.
It's all built around – if they don't have a player like him, then they're kind of resetting offensively. This would almost be a wash. They've ignored wide receiver.
They don't want to play there.
They don't know. So they want to play with backs. They want to run downhill in an RPO situation. They're going to throw to the tight end. They do have Bateman, who's a really nice player. But that's their model is predicated on – he's worth more there, and he's worth a lot to the league. but he's worth more there than anywhere else.
Because anywhere else you'd have to completely change what
You
you're
have to
doing.
start all over, and
Right.
they've already done it.
The bottom line is the Ravens are not willing to commit to Lamar Jackson what he wants. That's why we are at an impasse, as it would be in any negotiation.
I wonder if it gets to a point where it's like, what's Deshaun's annual number? It's
46.
It's 46. What if it's 3 for 150? Fully guaranteed, 50 a year.
I mean, maybe they should.
I mean, that's still 80 less than Deshaun, but it's more. Maybe that lets him sleep at night, saying, "Well, or is it 4 for 200?"
And it gives the Ravens a little flexibility after 3 years.
It depends if you can get him to take the average, make him the highest paid, year annual salary versus total guaranteed compensation.
They may also say, do we want to do that? Do we think that he
I feel like they do right now, don't
Aaron
you? Like
Rodgers.
the next 3
They've
years.
been pretty
at least.
outspoken
Herbert.
about what we've done.
Well, because they didn't like it.
They didn't like it.
Yeah.
Right.
But they have not yet come to a resolution.
No.
Look, you don't want to risk getting hurt. I get that, but you also want to be there in camp leading your team
Yeah.
and showing exactly why you do have to pay me.
Yeah. And the other thing is they're really good. They're really good. They were more banged up than us last year.
Yeah.
And they were in the mix till the end.
Yeah.
Without him, without all the injuries, they lost both corners, both tailbacks. I mean, they were decimated. They
Offensive
worse than
line.
us.
Yep.
No one was more injured than them. So if they can, and they had catastrophic stuff. I mean, it was Achilles, ACLs, I mean, they may not even be fully 100% by the time you get to September with some of these injuries they've had. But if he's back, they're right in the mix, right? So, and I think he hears all the whispers. It's a tricky situation. We identified it at camp. You were the first one that I recall saying it. Something doesn't feel right. I'm sorry, at the combine.
Unresolved.
Yeah, at the combine, we were like, this. I don't know. You ask people about Baltimore, like, something doesn't seem right over there,
Yeah.
and it's still trying to sort it out.
I mean, he changed his Twitter. Doesn't it say "pay me"? His Twitter.
Yeah, I believe
profile?
so. Something like I saw that on the
Something on the grill. Yeah.
on the grill. Yeah. All right. Also saw this today. The Houston Texans revealing their battle red helmets today. So they went red on these.
I like them. You don't like them?
Well, no.
Why not? They wear a red
Well, no.
jersey. That'll look good over the red jersey.
I don't like when you act like you have two primary colors. Like they are navy.
They have three primary colors. They're
right,
red,
but
white, and
their
blue.
primarily uniform color is navy. So to me, if you're going to go an alternate helmet, I would go white with the helmet there, and I would go an all white look if I were them. Now, what I would also say is, I don't like a full red either. Like I don't like it on the Chiefs. I don't like it on the Cardinals. I don't like that anyway. So I would choose a white hat over a red hat. That'd be the first thing I would do. But I think the thing that they should have done, and I know that people will yell at me and say, well, the Titans own that color. The Titans don't own every color of light blue. They don't.
No, it should have been an Oiler throwback.
Right.
Of course.
In the Oiler color scheme. Now, I know that the Titans, former Oilers, own that specific shade of blue. There's a blue that they own, and they will not let Houston use it. But you could have worn a different shade of blue. You easily could have done that, and that would have been a hit. Like this is kind of this almost seems much like their current uniform scheme, like a create-a uniform on Madden. Look, this just looks like it's inverted.
That way. So here's what they have according to their. So they would say their franchise, and this is from their website, paying homage to the franchises, to one of the franchises' three iconic colors. The team will don the new helmets, which are these red ones, Week 9 against the Eagles. So the Texans.
I love when teams' statements are like that.
Don is a great word.
Don the three iconic colors. Chill out. You're the Texans.
So
Chill out.
their uniform combos, this is off of their website, they wear a blue over white.
Mm-hmm.
They wear a blue over blue. They wear a white top over a blue pant.
Mm-hmm.
And they wear a red top over a white pant. So they don't have a red.
They don't have a red pant.
They don't have a red in their catalog, according to this.
Well, that helps then. I still like the idea. I think white. I prefer the white I think white would have looked pretty good on them.
Well, I would have done, to your point, I would have done like this, which I just found Googling really quickly. I would have done that.
I mean,
but it's still a Texan. It's not the Oilers,
No.
but it's the Texans uniform in the Oilers scheme. Yeah, that's gorgeous. That would be a top 10 uniform in sports immediately.
So the Oiler blue, it's just light blue. It's like a true, I don't know, it's like a Carolina blue or a UCLA blue. It's it's just called light blue. It's the Pantone on it is 279 is the actual color on it. But they do not allow for anybody else to use that color. That color is basically just retired. They have it like in shading in their Titans uniforms, but that look, all of it is just retired, which is a shame because it's gorgeous.
Why are they allowed to do that?
That's where I was going.
Well, this is how we got that right. The NFL got that right with us, where they didn't let the Ravens take it. The NBA got it right with the Sonics, like they didn't let Oklahoma City take the Sonics. So they got it right in those instances.
If they
I
got
feel
it
like
right,
we
but
might
then
have
they're
had to
not
pay
there.
for our colors back.
I thought they just kept – I don't know. You would know better than me. I was not here at that
But
time.
nobody gets to enjoy the there's nobody in Seattle to be the Sonics, so who cares?
But it feels like they're getting an expansion team along with Vegas in the next 2 or 3 years, that Seattle and Vegas are getting expansion teams, and so then they'll be the Sonics again. That's how that'll go. But the light blue, would have done it. You wear a white helmet with light blue and red for the Texans, you want to sell some kits?
Dude, the one I just showed you is
that's
perfect.
Unbelievable. I think when DeAndre Hopkins was there, he tweeted out an image of basically the Titans look just in Oiler colors. And it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect on that front. You getting any research on that, Gibby? In terms of did we have to buy the colors? I don't think we had. I thought that was just part of the deal. I thought it was
Subsequent legal actions saw a unique compromise that would later set a precedent in professional sports. Modell was able to keep the Browns' existing player and staff contracts, but his team officially would be an entirely new franchise. Meanwhile, the Browns' name, history, archives, and likeness would stay in Cleveland.
Like, can you imagine if we couldn't use Jim Brown or Bernie Kosar?
Yeah, ridiculous.
That's what happened in Houston. Like, they can't use Earl Campbell.
Right?
What?
Stupid. It's ridiculous.
Warren Moon?
There should be why isn't there a transaction?
Ridiculous.
Why couldn't you buy that from the Titans?
Apparently, the Adams family won't budge. They won't budge on it.
I don't know. They shouldn't.
They should have just been the Houston Oilers is what they should have done. That's exactly what you should have done.
Yeah.
You should have just been the Oilers. And the NFL should have said, you know what? This isn't right. Be the Oilers. That's it. Have the colors back. It's the 5th biggest market in the country. It's Texas. Let's do this right. And they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
Man, kudos to the artist of whatever we.
They're
found
stunning,
there.
right?
That is fantastic.
Just perfect. This news out of the University of Michigan yesterday. Gary Moeller succeeded Beau Bishop, Michigan head football coach in 1990, led the Wolverines to 3 Big Ten titles in 5 seasons. He died Monday at the age of 81. The university announced a lot of success when Moeller was there. Wasn't there a DUI or a drunken restaurant thing that led to his dismissal, and then Lloyd Carr got the job?
It's
before my time, but the kid would know for sure. I'm pretty sure there was. Like an incident or something that led to his dismissal in Ann Arbor, and then Lloyd Carr got the job. Moeller won a lot in the short amount of time he was there. 3 Big Ten titles in just over, I think, 5 years of coaching. But then Carr won the national title in 1997 with Chucky Woodson. But I'm pretty sure there was an incident that led to his dismissal. Then he kind of bounced around. He's in the NFL a little bit.
He was with the Lions for a little bit.
Yeah.
Moeller resigned in May '95 after tapes were released of his alleged drunken outburst following an arrest on a charge of disorderly conduct at the now defunct Excalibur restaurant in Southfield, Michigan.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
There it is.
There you go. But yeah, he was a captain and was really good. They were really good, and then Lloyd ends up being the coach there, and they win the national title. All right, we're going to get to our 10 most intriguing teams. We're going to come up with that list coming up. Gibby has an all-star panel. We'll select the teams that we're going to talk about here over the next couple of weeks.
Luminaries.
That is coming up at the top of the hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. All right, Gibby, this is your brainchild. Explain to the people.
I can't take all of the credit. We did. You and I had some discussions the week going
we did
to Runaway.
I like the idea of this.
Yes.
The idea is you pick the 10 most intriguing teams in the NFL. Now, the key to this thing is how do you define intriguing? Because there are a lot of really great teams in the NFL, but there aren't a whole lot of question marks around some of them. So it's going to be a balance of, I think, some really good teams that have question marks, some really bad teams that have change in leadership, new quarterbacks in certain spots. A team like the Chargers would make a lot of sense because it feels like they've got everything, but they're in an absolutely brutal division. So, for example, that's the way I defined it was that way, but we would all do it differently. We would hash it all out. The number one most intriguing team for me is Jacksonville. Now, I don't particularly care about Jacksonville.
Boy, they're number one on my list too.
I don't care about I don't care about the fan base. I don't particularly like the city, and I like Florida a lot. I don't particularly like the city. I think from a brand standpoint, they're a nothing. But that was a debacle of epic proportions, which I believe we had on this program, exactly how it would go. And they have a thought to be generational quarterback. Is he that or is he not? Can they salvage him? To me, they're the most intriguing team in the league for that reason. They're not going to win anything.
I don't know. Why not?
They
the
likely
division's
won't
wide
win
open.
anything. Yeah.
He said he was on with Colin Cowherd on Monday. Trevor Lawrence saying, quote, of Peterson, his resume speaks for itself, but then seeing the way he carries himself, the way he treats people, the way he leads, I think we're similar. Just our demeanors, our personality. Doesn't get too high or too low. I think that's really important to have if you're going to be a really good head coach, especially in the NFL. So it's been great getting to know him, and I think he's done a great job just planning out our offseason. There were a lot of changes we needed to make, and I think he's made those. He's put together a great plan of progressing our team offensively and defensively. So now that we're ready going into camp, I think he's done a great job. So I'm excited. I mean, okay. Immediately talks about his demeanor, the way he treats people, and then the fact that he has a plan. He actually has some organization.
Yeah.
And that is like night and day different.
It's all you need. Little guidance.
Yeah.
Some coaching.
Yeah. So I think
your kicker on the
I think that has the makings of intrigue.
Yep.
Right? That's really intriguing to me. Do you have – so I'm looking at this list that you give us, Gibby. Like, do you have a consensus?
Yeah, what is this, Gibby? It makes sense.
Where's our consensus? Like, I
don't
gave you
have
mine
a consensus.
this morning.
Did you do rank? Where's our CV to do rankings of how many times the team was mentioned?
I was giving you all of the lists. Zegura didn't submit one.
I have a list right here. 21 teams.
Here, I found mine on here. Let's
I have a list of 21 teams.
Well, you got to do 10.
I have 10.
All right, give me your 10.
11.
So
give me
hold
your
on.
10. Let's see how many of mine match up.
So I put together a committee, some award winners, some people that know the game.
What are the awards that have been won?
They've been numerous. They're gold. They're pretty nice.
They have wings?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Winged.
There's some impressive names.
All
I've taken the names off.
No names. Except mine, I noticed. My name is still on this list, on this printout.
Well, that's fine, but that was because you're
didn't
the
want
only
him
ones who've seen it.
All right, so don't look at the lists anymore. Go ahead with your thing, and then I want to see how many we got similar.
I thought we would go through some of these, and if the names
Are the Browns eligible?
No. The top 10 most intriguing that are not the Cleveland Browns. Special shout out to the committee. You know who they are. You know who you are. And I thought we would take from there. I could put together the list based off of that, but I also wanted to get your guys' opinions.
Okay.
So I thought we would have some fun with this.
All right.
So let's.
And then once we have our 10, we don't have to necessarily rank them, but.
No, you're not ranking them.
No.
You're just, these are the 10 most intriguing.
And then
it's
I will
arbitrary.
be booking guests the rest of this week and next week leading up to training camp.
Oh, baby.
All right, so give me your 10. Give me your list of 10. Let's see how many we matched up on.
Yeah, since no one else has it because you didn't submit it on time.
All right, so I've got.
Who didn't?
I had. All right, so you
I
did.
wasn't tasked with submitting. I was tasked with creating it. It's created right
Hold
here
on.
on time.
You got the email last night there, Bubs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, due
You
by
have a
noon
list?
today.
Can you give me your 10? And let's see what's match.
You
Let's
need a
match it up.
Stevie bad.
He starts Monday.
All right, good.
By the way.
Do we like him?
Jacksonville.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Jacksonville.
Okay.
Miami.
Yep.
San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
The Buffalo Bills.
Okay. I did not have that one.
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Yep. No, I did not have that one. I did not have that
Wow.
one. Yeah.
That's
That's
because
a
the girls
super
on the
team.
Chargers bandwagon.
I'm interested. I think they're interesting. They're a super team.
They are. They were
And I think
close.
the Bills are interesting because they've been crowned, and how they respond to that I find
Yeah.
interesting.
Those are
Fine.
the two that have been crowned.
Yep.
The Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
And then my last two are a little bit different. I'm really intrigued by the New York Jets.
Yep. I don't have them, but go ahead.
I am quite intrigued by them. And then I
That's
think
10.
that's 10. There it is.
Is that your 10?
That's it.
Okay, so we had 7 the same. We
Okay.
had 7 the same. We both had Jacksonville. We both had Baltimore. Both had Miami. Both had Vegas. Both had the Packers. Both had San Francisco. And both had Arizona. The 3 that I had that you didn't were I had Pittsburgh because I just don't know. They've never lost.
I'm not
and
intrigued by them at all.
I just think the bottom could be – this could be the end of it.
Yeah, I'm just
Could be the end of it.
yep.
Could
Okay.
be the end of the run.
Okay.
I just think that there's a lot of question for a franchise that's never really lost. To me, it feels like they're heading into what is about to be a lot of losing.
Okay.
And I'm fascinated to see how that goes for them.
Okay.
Denver
So
with Russ.
I had Denver was in my honorable mention. Okay.
And then I could have gone either way on either one of these. I think Detroit is intriguing with
I
the
have Detroit
weapons
listed. Yeah.
around Goff. And then I think, and some of this is personal, Fields in Chicago with what they've done or haven't done.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like for him? Does he survive? Because it was criminal what they did to him.
Yeah.
And it's not quite the malpractice in Jacksonville, but it's damn close. And it actually, from a talent standpoint, it might be worse. His situation might be worse. And I'm just curious if he can get out of it alive. So I kind of had those two teams. I could have taken either one of them.
Who did you take?
I said either one. Like if it's a tie, like
Yeah.
you can have either one of those.
I thought
be
Indy
the
was
ones.
intriguing. I was intrigued by Matt Ryan in a new place for the first time in his
Yeah.
career. I thought that was interesting. I also just as kind of it's interesting to see, are they really going to tank Seattle and Atlanta? Like, what
Sure.
are they really doing? That's kind of interesting to me. And then the other team I had that was close, because like Tampa, the Rams, can they repeat? Cincinnati. It's a lot of people that I look on these lists have those teams, and I find New England to be the least interesting team.
Yes.
Is Tennessee, and I didn't see them on many lists, and my reason for that, I see them on one here. My reason for Tennessee is you've been the number 1 seed. Like, when do you just say, okay, yeah, we're good and it's fun, but we're not good enough and implode the whole thing?
Well, they didn't do that though.
Right. So I
Like, so
think
they're
it's
kinda like
interesting to
just-
watch this year, especially if it doesn't go swimmingly, what that looks like. But they weren't in my top 10.
Yeah.
I would vote if we've got 7 that were 100% in unison.
Yeah.
Okay. I would put, based on the ones you said, Denver to me, I would put in there. I'm fine with
Yeah.
Denver. So that's 8.
And from yours, I would put Chargers.
Okay. So that's 9.
And so basically, we have almost the entire AFC West.
I think the Jets are in. I'll make the case for the Jets real quickly. Okay. You get Garrett Wilson.
Mhm.
You got Elijah Moore. You've got Corey Davis. I find Zach Wilson to be very interesting all of a sudden.
He had a good weekend.
You've
I
got
don't
a
know if he did or
team.
not.
You've got a team that got
Feels
they
like
got
it.
Sauce Gardner. They got that defensive pass rusher as well.
Yeah.
They get Carl Lawson, who was their big free agent signing a year ago, back in the mix. And I'm interested. I like the coaching staff. I like Saleh and I like LaFleur. So I'm into the Jets. I think they could be a really if Zach Wilson, and we're starting to get some reports coming out not just about his off the field prowess, but on the field, that he's looked really, really good and people are excited. I mean, that's a team that could be really fun to watch.
I just don't buy it with him, and so maybe that's why that's what I can't get by with.
Not
him, is
even
I just-
anymore?
I mean, I buy that part of it. There's a bit of a miscalculation, by the way, on the ex-girlfriend's part.
Yes, should not.
Thinking that would be a detriment
No, she's made him a hero.
made him something else entirely. Is there anybody we're missing on this?
Do you
I'm
not
just
find
looking
the
through
Bills
everybody's.
intriguing?
No, because I think they're known. I
Now,
think I
it's
know exactly who
interesting.
they are.
I can tell you the gentleman that submitted.
I feel the same with them as I feel about the category you put Cincinnati, Rams, Bucks. Like, to me, they're there. They're known. They can win
But
the Super
they
Bowl.
didn't get out of it. They lost.
They still feel like they're
okay.
It's the running it right back. Like they're known to me.
All right,
like
so then we agree.
I guess that's what I tried to do.
So we agree with Denver and the Chargers. We've agreed on. So we're at 9 in total agreement.
I'm interested in, did something fundamentally change about the team that will lead to a I like the idea of something new. So I guess that's why I didn't.
So
that's
do you
why
like the Jets then? Do you think they could be new, or you're just?
I think they feel like the same to me. It feels like just another year of Zach and another year of these guys, and they feel too young. And I just think I don't buy in Wilson much. I think that's probably my hang-up.
There's
there.
like 4 new stars.
Stars.
Garrett
They're
Wilson.
young kids. Well, they're kids.
Sauce
They're rookies.
Gardner,
They're
and then
rookies.
The pass rusher and Lawson, who they never played.
Yeah, we'll see if there's. I don't know. They're young kids. We'll see if they turn into that. I just don't buy Wilson. I think that's my hang-up with him. I have
But
no
you don't buy
connection to him, and I
Tua.
don't buy him. No, but I buy everything else. And so the Tua part of it is, for me with them, it's if he's not great, who's popping in there and playing?
All right, we need a 10th team then. We've got 9. We need a 10th.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go through and I'll go through and take I'll go through and take a couple more teams too.
Is there anybody else that we are missing here?
Arizona and
like
the 49ers.
Somebody has God bless them, but they have like the Vikings is interesting.
Not interesting. I'll tell you, aren't the Jets are on? At least on this page, they're on all 4 of these ones. On this page, they're on the first one, and then no others.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
No, it ends up being.
I know
50-50,
that I can tell you that
hot.
the person that submitted on page 1, the second person, he just went with the bottom ones. I'm intrigued by all the sucky ones. And
like I'm not intrigued by the New York Giants at all.
No, none.
No
Nothing.
interest.
Nothing.
I'm not intrigued by the Texans. I'm not intrigued by the Bears. You mentioned Fields. Detroit, I would be willing to put Detroit in there. I think it'd be fun to see what that team can do with Hawkinson.
They're more interesting from the standpoint of could they challenge. I acknowledge that my Bears thing is really Fields heavy.
Sure.
Because of him. I mean, that's really what it's about. It's really Fields heavy. Yeah, the known stuff I don't. And maybe that's a mistake on my part, too, at the Jets. Like, maybe I just feel like Wilson is known. I don't think it's probably not fair, but maybe I just think that he is. I tell you what, you could talk me into Seattle or Atlanta. You know, maybe one of them is, maybe the 10th is the Tankapalooza teams.
So let's take Seattle, because why are you trying to start with Drew Lock or isn't it Geno Smith?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
I mean,
with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett on your roster.
Yeah, what they are going to be able to do is if executed properly, this is Joe Burrow to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is really good young roster. Now we got the franchise quarterback, and we're in the Super Bowl in 2 years.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
It's not very often that you already have – it's rare. Usually when you draft a quarterback early, it's the situation that Fields is in where you don't have anything around him, and there's very little chance for success. Whoever – Stroud, Young, whoever it's going to be in Seattle is ready. That's ready-made. We're good to go.
Yep.
Honestly, like, am I nuts for saying, like, you tell me if I'm wrong, like way off base on this. Is Russell Wilson closer to the Super Bowl had he stayed in Seattle when you consider the NFC or in Denver in the AFC?
I think if you were to just take in isolation the roster and the conference situation, yes, he was closer with Seattle, but the coaching was broken. The offense was broken. It was garbage.
It was, yeah.
On a number of these Rams, Chiefs, I think there's a little bit of intrigue there with both.
So the Rams, can they repeat? You know, Allen Robinson comes in.
Von Miller out.
Von Miller out to Buffalo. I don't know.
I think that they're just a contender.
I'm not that
really. I think they'll just be a contender. I think the
Can Kansas City ever win another Super Bowl? But that's like, okay, now we're.
But they're going to be a contender, right? Like, they're a contender. They got.
But they could.
If questions. They're going to be.
Didn't make the playoffs. If they finished 4th in their division, I wouldn't be floored. Their division's that good.
Yeah, I mean, every team in that division could be above 500.
Yeah.
What about Colts?
I like the Colts.
You mentioned them.
I did.
Yeah, I think it's
Matt Ryan.
Is it more okay? Let's stay in the Rust Belt area then. Is it more intriguing to be the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC in 2022, or the Detroit Lions in the NFC in 2022?
Colts.
I
Because
don't
I
know
don't.
about
The
that.
Lions. Could they end up being the? Okay, we'll say everything goes right. Okay, literally everything goes right for them.
Does more have to go right for Indy than it does for Detroit? I'm just saying neither of these teams are Super Bowl teams. I'm saying, like, make the playoffs. Indy's got a chance to make the playoffs.
Indy can win their division.
They can win their division, yeah.
I'd
Probably be the favorite to win the division.
Right.
But
I
I think they
believe
will be-
Detroit can win their division.
Agree.
I
They'll be heavy dogs, though, in any game they play in the postseason. Indy will.
Yes.
I just feel like Detroit could put some things together and make some noise in that division.
Could they jump Minnesota?
Yes. Yes.
In
I
play.
like that offense.
Yeah, there's some weapons.
I don't know if we know enough about their defense.
Well, but we don't know enough about the Packers outside Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that's
we know
why
their
they're on
defense is really
and
good,
their
though.
D's good, and that's
And
why
there's
they're on the
also-
list. What does he do without receivers?
Yeah.
I think there's also the deal with, like, Rodgers won another MVP. He's had a lot of home playoff games. It's now or never, man. Like, if you're going to get that second one,
And if it's now
It's
or
now.
never, how do you let how's Devontae Adams not on your team?
I don't know. And how are you okay with it? You know?
Hey, he achieved his goal of finishing top 20 at the Accenture. In fact, he finished in the top 10.
Crushed it.
Crushed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody. I mean, you could talk me into Seattle. We could do Indy. I'm fine with Indy. I think Indy's intriguing. I guess, is there a team, like, to me, I think the process, and I really think you could put them, like, all three together. Like, almost like the 10th team could be the three teams that are tanking. Like, Houston, Atlanta, and Seattle are all tanking.
The NFL needs regulation or relegation. I mean, relegation. It'd be great.
All it needs is a draft lottery, and then that's done.
Over with.
It's done. Just get a draft lottery. That's it. It's absolutely it.
How far? Let me ask you this: how far are we? And I think the answer is not, but I could be wrong. How far are we from going to 8 teams in the playoffs per conference? Half. The league.
I hate it. I'm sure we're close because they're going to make a lot of money on it, but I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I like 6. I like it 6, and I like it at 16. I don't like it 7. I don't like it 8. I like it being tough.
Hard to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I like it tough. Yeah. Should be that. I mean, the thing that you're doing, if you go to 8, which they will, you are starting to diminish the regular season. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I mean, it's okay. Like, the playoffs is where the juice is made, but you
Seeding
don't
will
want to go
matter.
too far into the.
You want to win your
NBA
division.
realm.
You still want to win your division. That's the difference.
As long as you make sure that that's part of it.
Winning the division gets you a home playoff game in the first round. That's a big deal.
I don't know. Stafford went to Tampa Bay and won. The Packers have hosted the NFC Championship game the
Of course,
last 2
but
years.
it feels like something to
It
play
does,
for.
but I'm not sure if it is as much as we want it to be.
It is fair. It is the
Cincinnati,
playoffs, though.
Didn't Cincinnati win in Kansas City?
They did.
So, I mean, we both championship games last year.
The
The road
Niners,
team
though,
won.
lost in L.A.
Yeah. Both championship games, road team won, though. AFC, NFC.
No.
Packers hosted this year.
Did they?
They hosted the last 2 years, didn't they?
I thought the AFC championship game or the NFC championship game was the Niners and the Rams.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Right. That they won the week before. The Niners beat them in Green Bay the week before.
Like
That's
10-6
right.
or
Yeah,
something.
gross
Yes.
game.
Gross.
Yeah, gross game. Yeah.
That's a night game.
That's right.
Sucked.
I don't. I just like when you look at the AFC, for example. And yes, you're right. You have to play something, but because the divisional schedules are different, it's not like in college where everybody in your conference, for the most part, plays the same schedule, right? In the division. And I know now we're going to these insane conferences, which is going to be a whole nother thing. There's no way everybody
Yeah.
can play everybody
Right.
the same. I also think that the first round bye is overrated. I realize it gets you into the second round without having to play a game, but it feels like when's the last time a team with the first round bye just ran it?
Oh, yeah. No, it's a good point on that. I wonder.
I wonder if it's more of a detriment than an asset.
I think we went to 17 games last
Yeah.
year, and it was really a war of attrition. These teams were so beat up. And now you think about, you're probably going to go to an 18-game schedule, and then you're going to add another game for
they
everybody
should
in
go
the
to
playoffs.
an 18-week schedule.
with 16 games.
With 16 games, 2 buys
Yes.
for every team.
Yeah.
And then you
Now
can
you
then
have
have 8 teams in the playoffs. That'd be fine.
Sold.
Okay.
Sold.
In.
Yeah. 2 buys, 16 games, and then 8 in. I'm fine. That's a win.
You're
See
still
them-
getting 18 weeks of football on TV. Like,
yes. It's not changing that at all.
No.
It's not changing that at all.
No.
You're losing a half of a gate a year.
Right.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. All right, so you just need to pick one, Gibby. We've
I
got
can do
9.
that.
We
I
got
might
9.
pick 2. Just we got some time coming up.
Well, so then are we going to do the 15 most intriguing teams?
No.
Or are we going to do the 10 most?
Yeah, it could be
Maybe
10,
do
could
the
be
12.
12.
Maybe
Could be
do
the
a
dirty
dozen.
dozen.
Get you to the a week from Friday. Is what you need to be. That's your sweet
Gibby,
spot.
you know how many are in a baker's dozen?
Yes, he does.
I would like to think so, but I don't know.
Throw out a number. Dozen.
Yeah.
Baker's dozen.
Doesn't. It was a
13.
trick question.
No, 13.
Not.
Not. The
13.
baker gives you a bonus.
One for the baker.
One for the baker.
Okay.
13.
I'm sure
I'm
I've heard
shocked
that before.
you have not heard that before. That seems like something that is said often in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, it feels like a very old-timey
It feels like a
phrase that
very
Gibby would be all about.
Baker's dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to know this.
No, yeah. All right. Very good. All right. Coming up next. So there we have it. We need one more intriguing team. We will get to that. We have the CBS Sports with their 2022 all under 25 offensive team.
Oh, baby.
I'll go over some of these guys, the young stars in the league. That's coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. CBS Sports with their 2022 all-under-25 offensive team. The Chargers are going to have a lot of these guys on this. All under 25. I got to know who's under 25 at quarterback. Obviously, Herbert is. Who else?
Herbert is under 25.
Is Burrow over? Burrow 26?
I don't know.
I'm working on it.
The only rule is these players must be under 25 years old entering the season. This actually disqualifies a few players such as Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, who turns 25 in August. So what I wish he did here is just a note to our good friend Mr. Jordan, is that I wish he would put who else he considered. It would make it easier to see. So he picked Herbert.
The way that CBS's website works is just a joke.
Should have said, I see. Here's Herbert's my choice.
Here are the other guys I'm choosing him over.
Yes, that I've chosen him over.
So, all right, I'll tell you what you can do on this. Like ESPN just did this. They did the 10 best QBs list. Jeremy Fowler did this.
Yep.
I think this was executives, coaches. I think Deshaun was 9 on this list.
Okay,
yes.
So he's got a second team here. So he does have a second
so
team.
So let's pull this up, because then I can directly say like who's younger than who has a chance to be on this list. So like is Burrow 26?
He
or
must
is he 25?
be, because the second team quarterback is Mac Jones.
Okay, so clearly Burrow's
he's
26, so he's out. Okay.
Yep. All right. So
by the way, are you sure you take Mac Jones over Trevor Lawrence?
I'm not. In fact,
I'm not.
I wouldn't.
Josh Allen is obviously older.
Yes.
Josh Allen's 25.
So you have to be under 25 going into the season. It's under 25.
Oh, you have to be 24.
Correct. Should just say, yeah.
So it's not 25 and under.
No, it's the all
lot
under
of problem with
25
this guy's
offensive
list.
team. No, he
Burrow's
says
25
it's
too.
all under 25. The under 25. You just say the 24 years or younger list.
Yeah.
So we're there.
In which case, your candidates are Herbert,
Lawrence,
Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Tua, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson.
I'm taking
Trey
Lawrence.
Lance.
I'm taking Trevor Lawrence.
I'd take Lawrence second behind Herbert.
All right. Running back.
And by the way, this is a big reason why Herbert was, one of those things in the draft. Like, he was young.
Shout out to Moeller. Moeller said he came out in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, he said, and this is coming off of 2018 when it was just not feasible, and I thought it was crazy. He's like, Brown should trade Baker and to whoever and pick Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, yeah.
He loved him at Oregon, saw him there. Turns out that was a pretty good call.
Nailed it.
Put that in the resume. That's right. Running back Jonathan Taylor, and his second team running back is Najee Harris. I have no problem with that. Wide receivers, pretty good team here. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, teammates, and CD Lamb. I really don't have a problem with that. The second team's not bad either. Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, and T. Higgins.
I feel like Metcalf
so many
should be on there
talented
over
guys.
CD Lamb.
Metcalf's only 24?
Yeah. CD Lamb.
If you were building a team, you would take and you already had Chase and Jefferson, you would take Metcalf over Lamb, I think.
So this is the first year where he's the guy, so we'll see. In fact, he is the betting favorite to lead the league in receiving yards in 2022, CD Lamb. Last year, 1,102 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. I'm curious about – let me pull this up real fast because I am curious about a DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf has had really good flashes. So 2 years ago, Metcalf 83, 1,303, and 10. Last year, 75, 967, 12 touchdowns, though. Yeah, I think you could make the case that DK Metcalf could be on there over CeeDee Lamb, but I'm guessing if you ask people to draft one of the two, they would draft CeeDee Lamb around the league.
Yeah. I just like Metcalf's got some stuff you can't teach.
Well, he's got size.
Yeah, the size and speed you just can't teach. So that's the one thing.
Right.
Lamb's probably more versatile, more overall, but it's all good.
I mean, there should be 4. They should all be on here. Kyle Pitts is the tight end. The backup's Noah Fant. There's no competition there. Kyle Pitts, 1,000 yards last year. Yeah. Only 1 touchdown, though. Very odd.
Kind of a Julio thing with him. What's going on with
maybe
Matt Ryan?
Ice. Yeah, maybe
he's icing out people.
Freezing
inside the 20. He just won't throw it to the receivers.
Stars.
What's he doing?
I don't know. Rashawn Slater, left tackle. Vera Tucker, the left guard, Jets. Creed Humphrey, the center of the Chiefs, who was unbelievable. James Daniels, the right guard of the Steelers. I have no idea.
Yep.
Tristan Wirfs, right tackle.
That one makes sense.
Second team is Andrew Thomas. How old's Jed Wills? Jed Wills is better than Andrew Thomas. Michael Onwenu, Lloyd Cushenberry, Trey Smith, Panay Sewell.
They're the kid taken out of, like, the surest thing I think in this draft was the kid taken out of Iowa that went in the first round, the
to
center.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Jed Wills, 23.
Yeah, give me Jed Wills over
Thomas. Yeah.
Hasn't Thomas been like a debacle?
Yes.
All right, this guy. He needs our help. We need to help this guy out.
Linderbaum is the kid out of Iowa.
Tyler? Is it
Tyler Linderbaum. He's going to be.
Yeah, the Ravens were thrilled to get him. I know that.
Yeah, book it. They're set up. They're absolutely set up. Yeah. So that's it. There's a lot. I'll tell you what. The one thing that I am curious if this ends up happening in the league, because there are so many talented receivers coming in every year, do you change the way you view receiver turn into the way that we're now viewing running back?
Because there's so many.
We talked about this in the draft, around the draft time. Like, do you have to pay franchise receivers anymore? Or will that start to fall out because of the type of talent? Like,
what you do,
it's just crazy what's coming out of the college year in and year out at receiver.
What you do is what the Vikings did, but you got to execute. So you trade Stephon Diggs and turn that into Justin Jefferson on a rookie deal.
But you got to hit
land
him.
But you
both
have
of
to
them.
hit it. Right.
You got to land both of them, man.
Right.
But it does feel like you're landing more and more of these receivers. Like, it feels like there isn't – it's really hard, it feels like, to me, the last 3 or 4 years for a first-round receiver to bust. Unless there's off-field. Like, if they get to play, it feels like they hit.
Yep.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you can see why people are – I mean, you see why people are excited about that Chargers team.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like there.
Loaded.
It's just brutal. That's a brutal division.
It is a brutal division. Did he do his defense, or is it just offense?
I haven't seen the defense pop up yet.
All right, here's the beef I'm going to have with this list. He's got to do 25 and under.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to do the math. Nobody's going to do 24.
Correct.
If you put 25 in the damn title,
Right.
it makes you think 25.
25
So you
and
should have
under.
just done 25 and under. That's the way to solve
He
it.
did under 25
Yeah,
instead of
that's
25
not it.
and under.
Then what you should have said is 24 and under. That's how you
24
solve
and.
that.
That's right. That's how you say it.
Yeah, that's how you solve it. So you go 25 and under is the way that's
That's
being
right.
done.
Yeah, again, what is with the love for Mac Jones?
I don't find them interesting. I don't think it's funny. Like, people rave about him. People are so excited about him. He's fine. You saw him in person, Mac Jones.
I didn't. I missed that. That was I had COVID.
Oh, you were COVID that game. That's right.
Good one to miss.
You didn't miss a whole lot,
It's a
kids.
good one to miss.
Boy, did you not miss a whole lot that day. I mean, what are they've got Devontae Parker.
I will say this: Mac Jones looks pretty good. He looks like he's thinned up. I'm just seeing some images of him from like this summer.
Best body ever. It's that time of year. Best shape of their life.
N'Keal Harry,
Nikhil-
Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick
Bourne, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Damian Harris. They have a good defense.
I don't know about their whole offense.
67%. Well, isn't Patricia going to call it? Isn't that what they're saying? Like, they're not even
That's one of
replacing
the,
McDaniels?
Yeah.
So last year, he's 67% passer, 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks.
Serviceable.
The 68% is nice. He didn't drive the ball down the field much. 7.3 on the AV on that side of things. There's a lot of good young quarterbacks in the league. We were having that conversation yesterday in terms of the guys who are franchise guys, or you think who can be franchise guys. You think about that, the position those guys are in. You think about you like Wilson a lot, obviously, and everything around it. I don't know if you like Wilson. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you like all the skill around him.
Yeah. I do like the
for
skill
sure.
around him.
Yeah, and the right position there, you ought to be able to be pretty good.
Yeah.
The other thing that's completely unknown in this is Lance. He's completely unknown. I mean, I know we have Pedro talking, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and Boots on the Ground says they're, boy, a lot of excitement right now.
He's
Lot
all
of
fired up
excitement right now about Trey Lance. Oh, yeah.
Jeez, Wilson was just pretty dreadful.
He wasn't good last year.
55%, 2,300, 9 touchdowns, 11 picks.
Remember, they were better. Their offense was lit up for a while when some undrafted guy started playing quarterback for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it felt like it was like, oh my God, they blew this entire thing. I wanted to check on Lawrence just to see.
He was dreadful.
What
awful, horrific.
What his numbers were.
Horrible.
That first year out. Yeah, 60% passer, 3,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 17 picks for Lawrence in year 1.
Dreadful. Just rotten, awful. He's going to be much better this year.
Yeah.
I still think he's the real deal.
Fields year 1, 59% passing, 1870, 7 touchdowns, 10 picks, 420 on the ground. What they did to him here was criminal. What they did to him here was borderline criminal.
Awful.
What Matt Nagy did to him. So, and he's got no help.
Awful.
I mean, that roster's brutal. It's an absolutely brutal roster. I thought about this around the draft time. Would they actually have been better off trading him at the draft
this year
and just starting over?
Yes.
They would have been.
They're not trying to help him.
No, they're not, and they've given up all the first-round picks to get him, so they can't help him in the draft. They're not attractive in free agency. There's nothing there. Speaking of them, did you see over the weekend that the city of Chicago had talked about putting a dome on the Soldier Field
they're
downtown?
building a new stadium somewhere.
Well, they want to keep him. The city wants to keep him in Chicago.
Okay.
Right downtown. And so they're talking about putting a dome on Soldier Field. Now they just renovated it
on
the spaceship.
I was living in Illinois when they did this. I covered
it was crazy in the time.
The Bears in Champaign.
Did anybody in Chicago want a spaceship on it when they did it?
No, everybody was ticked. Everybody hates that stadium.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty wild. Chicago is all over the place architecturally. It's awesome, but it's all over the place. So I'm guessing that's what they were trying to do with it. But I don't know. So anyway, they talked about putting a dome on it, and the Bears are like, yeah, no, we're actually still going to go to the suburbs. We're still going to go to the suburbs. We're going to do it out there. We don't want to be downtown.
It will
anymore.
cost you more to try to put a dome on a stadium than just build a new stadium, potentially.
I think, honestly, if you're building a stadium in 2022
and it
doesn't have a dome, then stop.
Stop what you're doing.
Retractable, where you're building
fine.
Great. Fine. In great weather, retractable, or even bad weather, retractable, fine. But it has to have the dome option.
Yes.
It's absurd to think that now you would build a stadium that doesn't.
Yes. You're cutting yourself out of so many business opportunities. It can't be about something that can be used.
And beyond that, it's for your fans, too.
Of course.
Like
you want to incentivize them to get there.
Yes. When you talk about what we always talk about, like betting from your seat, how's that work when it's 17 degrees and it's raining and snowing sideways?
Does
the touch screen work? In the snow, does the touch screen work? No, it doesn't.
Absolutely not.
Beer slushies.
You can still serve up a beer slushie. Are the Bills doing that with their new stadium? Is it going to have a dome?
If it doesn't, that is absurd.
I was just Googling it here quickly to see if they were putting a dome on that thing.
They should. They should. Every stadium should be a dome.
It looks like it's got an overhang, but it doesn't look like it has a dome to me.
An overhang like what
like
you
Miami.
would call... Oh, no, that's not enough.
Yeah, it looks like, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah, it looks like it's
got
open.
like an overhang to keep the snow and
No.
rain and all that off you, but keep the elements in.
No way. Awful.
If I had Josh Allen and I was going to build a new stadium and it didn't have a roof,
I want
Go
perfect
get the
environment for him. Let me eliminate the variables because we have great talent, and let's let our talent win. Could you imagine, okay, how absurd is this notion where the wind could push the ball? Can you imagine if big-time NBA games were played outdoors?
No, nonsense.
Nonsense. But why is it any different?
I don't know. Well, I think because you weren't capable. It was too hard to build. It was too expensive. It didn't make sense to build it. So you just built these. You got to remember, like there's an era in our history from the 60s through the 90s where you built one stadium for a whole city.
That's right.
And we all used it.
Cookie
then all of a sudden it was like, and I feel like I want to give Camden Yards credit for this in Baltimore.
It was a ballpark.
It was a ballpark. They built a ballpark.
Coors Field, maybe? They were on the same time, I'd feel like.
I'm pretty sure Camden was the it could have been Coors.
Makes sense. No.
In my head, it's Camden. Yeah. And they built it, and it was like, this is a ballpark. And we're going to have a smaller attendance, and it's going to have all of the character that you want in a baseball field. And that to me, then everybody went specific. at that point. Build football stadiums, we build baseball stadiums. And so you still have the idea, though, that there's been stadiums built in the last 25 years that aren't that way, multi-purpose, used for many things, control the environment. It's crazy to me.
The fact that Minnesota built what it built and everybody around the league who went there because it was like, okay, this is what we have to have in our city, I don't understand it.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's perfect. That place is absolutely perfect. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. So what's the deal here? Are we steering clear of rain today?
Supposed to. Now it looks like tomorrow.
Yeah, baby. No rain.
Disappointing for tomorrow.
Yeah, baby. You can't have rain tomorrow.
Not really. It's a champion's dinner. Champion's prerogative.
Oh, God. Like a young Bootsy. Champion's prerogative.
Ooh, yeah.
What am I looking at here? We're looking
a little
on our side of town there's a little
outside?
bit. Yeah, there's a little bit on our side. There's a little bit of it's actually an amazing night. Like 79, 76. Like actually July's been more moderate than June.
It's been lovely.
The other night it was down like 59 degrees, 60 degrees on that Saturday night and a Sunday.
Yeah, I opened the windows on that.
It's cold.
That was really nice. Yeah. All right, so tomorrow's where you're going to get your rain.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. There's everyone's lawn looks like crap in my neighborhood.
Burn
like
out.
All of them just burn out, like just splotched, and there's nothing you can do. There's not enough water. so forth. There's nobody. You know it's going to be fine by the time you get to September, but for right now, it sucks.
By the way,
1
I'm
minute.
not complaining about sun and dry
no,
at all.
I'm fine with it.
No
I'm
complaints.
fine with it. I've got one neighbor, Augusta National. I don't know how he's doing it.
He's out there.
It's Augusta
team.
National.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
beautiful.
how he's doing it. I don't know who's
What's
making
that
it
water
happen.
bill look like?
But look, it's like you run out of water. You can't water all the time, like you run out. So like, what's the secret sauce down there?
I bet you can
I don't
ask
know.
him.
30.
Send Bootsy
Yeah, he's a
out
good
there.
man.
Have Bootsy drive up in his little mini
This
Tesla.
little Tesla go
Yeah.
down there, get some things
Yeah,
sorted
hey.
out.
What's going on with your lawn, buddy?
That might be the play.
It is the
We'll maybe
play.
do that. The next level coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Runs Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.